Let me just start recording. Okay, ready, yes.
Good.
Recording now. Thank you,
Okay.
Cristina.
Well, I'll start off with my very limited Spanish. Hola. As Alejandra said, my name is Cristina, and I work here at Trobe University in Melbourne, Australia. I'm learning Spanish, but it's still not good enough to make a presentation, so I hope everybody will understand me well enough in English, and if not, please ask your questions. Okay. So to start off, welcome to La Trobe University. I hope you can all see my slides well. And I'm going to go through a short presentation, and then we'll have plenty of time for questions at the end. Okay. So La Trobe University is located in Melbourne, Australia, in one of the residential suburbs of the country. There we go. Okay. So for those of you who know a little bit about Australia, you know that we have a very nice culture here. We have great beaches, great weather, except for right now we are having winter. So I'm bundled up in a scarf and a jacket right now because it is very cold in Melbourne this week. But normally we have wonderful climate. Normally it is very nice weather here. It turns quite warm during the day, so it will warm up a little bit later this afternoon and I won't be freezing. Some of the other great reasons to study in Australia, you might know about a lot of our universities here. You may know some of the big name universities. There is an excellent education system in Australia. Many of our universities are top ranked around the world. We're very competitive. We do excellent research here. So you're guaranteed to get a good education in Australia. It's also a very safe place to live. So I've moved here from the United States, and a lot of people find that the US is not very safe, or there are a lot of threats. We see a lot of scary things on the news. Australia is relatively safe. Obviously, you have to be careful every place you go. But I think one of the things that I always look out for here is kangaroos on the road. You don't have to look out for that in many other countries. So we do have a lot of wildlife. We have a lot of really cool and interesting wildlife. You'll see the picture here with a kangaroo. We have lots of strange and different types of animals. But you've also got a global experience here. So we have people from all over the world who come to Australia to study, to live, to work. You'll have other students from Latin America, many people from Asia, from all parts of the world. So you're getting that true global experience when you come to Melbourne. It is definitely a metropolitan city. Okay. So speaking about Melbourne, Melbourne is consistently ranked as one of the most student-friendly cities, one of the most livable cities. It's just been top ranked again for being one of the top cities in the world for students, for young people, for great culture, for activities. So we do have a lot of things going on here. Coffee, if you're a coffee fan, Melbourne loves coffee. We have all different kinds of food here in the city, but you've also got a lot of culture and activities. So if you're a fan of tennis, we have the Australian Open. We have the Formula One car racing here. We've got lots of music activities, lots of sport, lots of wonderful things for you to get out and do. Or you can just go to a local cafe and sit down and have a cup of coffee and watch people walk down the street. So plenty to do in Melbourne and a wonderful city to live in. Now, more specifically about La Trobe itself, this is a map of Australia. So just getting a little bit of an orientation of where we're located. In the southeast of the country, those two states that are highlighted in red, those are New South Wales and Victoria. New South Wales is where Sydney is located, and Victoria is where Melbourne is located. La Trobe has 7 campuses, and a couple of them are in both of those states. So you'll see all the different dots there to show you where our campuses are located. And then I'll take it down to more of a concrete level for you. Our primary campus is in an area called Bundoora. It's a residential neighborhood of Melbourne, about 14 kilometers from the city center. It is a very, very large, very green campus. If you've seen pictures or you know much about American college campuses, Bandura really looks like that. It is a traditional style campus with a green center, with student accommodation. Your academic buildings are 10 or 15 minutes walk maximum from your bedroom. So it's a very, very nice all-inclusive campus. And then we have campuses out further into the regional areas of Victoria. So you have Bendigo, Albury-Wodonga, Mildura, and Shepparton. Those are 4 regional cities, and we're trying to push the education out into the regional areas of the state, so those students don't have to drive a few hours to come to Melbourne. We've also got our city campus, that is downtown Melbourne, and that's, as many universities do, it's a few stories of an office building where we've got our classrooms. Our professors go into the city and teach a number of different classes there. So if you were a professional student, or if you are a working professional rather, and you're also studying, you have an opportunity to work in the city and then come to your classes at the city campus. There is one other city campus, and that's located in Sydney. The Sydney campus is another one of those city type of campuses where we have a select number of our courses that are taught there. They're mostly business and IT. So that is another option for students who are living in Sydney and want to still attend La Trobe. Okay, let's talk more about the Bandura campus. Because it's a very large campus, and this is our primary campus, Bandura is quite large. It's very spread out. It's actually the largest campus in the Southern Hemisphere. It's got its own postcode, so we have a mailroom right here on campus, and anything with that postcode is coming to the university. It's very spread out with a lot of different infrastructure. We've got new innovation hubs that I'll talk about in a minute, working with different industry partners. So we're actually bringing industry onto campus to help develop our courses and provide opportunities to our students. We've also got a wildlife sanctuary on campus. So if you're a little sad and you want to go for a walk and see some kangaroos or possums or our new residents, the emus, that's a lovely area to go and walk around. Students can volunteer there as well. You can go and interact with the animals at a distance. But it's a nice place to go and have a walk and to see a little bit of wildlife. We've also got our own medical center on campus. We've got cafes, restaurants, shops, pretty much everything you need. So students don't really need to leave campus for very much. And one of our highlights, if you are a fan of football, and if you've seen the Women's World Cup recently, the Matildas have developed a sports facility on our campus. So we have the home of the Matildas, as well as the base for Football Victoria. That is an extension of our sports park on campus. So the center of our campus is what we call the agora. Agora is a Greek word meaning marketplace. The agora is really the center of our campus. This is our big green space where in warmer weather, you'll see students sitting out here and hanging out with friends or studying. The library is located here, as well as many of those cafes and restaurants that we have on our campus. Now, what will you study at La Trobe? You have so many different options. If you're coming to La Trobe, you have all different schools and departments that you could look into, depending on what your interest is and what you'd like to study. You might like to go into health or humanities or biomedicine or business, maybe become a teacher or a nurse, or work in our health programs, in dentistry perhaps, or even go into engineering or computer science. We have all different offerings, just as many universities do. The one thing that La Trobe does not have is a medical school, so we do not train doctors. But if you still want to become a doctor, you could be a dentist, a podiatrist, so many different types of healthcare providers. That's something that La Trobe offers very well. Now, the new rankings have just come out from QS, and La Trobe has continued to improve over the years. So in the last 5 years, we've jumped 183 places in the world rankings, which is huge. That's a big step for a university. La Trobe is now ranked 217th worldwide, and that's in the latest 2025 rankings for universities. So that means out of thousands and thousands of universities, we're really climbing the ladder to compete with top-ranked universities around the world. And we're very proud of that number, so we're going to be putting that out there quite a bit. Now, one of the things that you'll find at La Trobe is we're very, very strong in healthcare programs, but we've got great resources for technology as well. And so we've started to bring these two concepts together. Health and technology really is moving things forward into the future. So we've worked with a lot of our industry partners, and you'll see here Cisco, Microsoft, Optus, those are all listed. They've come onto our campus to help not only design some of our courses and work with our students, but we've also developed a couple of innovation hubs. So we have now the Digital Innovation Hub and the Bio Innovation Hub. And we're doing a lot more collaboration with industry in order to offer our students all sorts of opportunities, again, focusing a little bit on the future and healthcare, innovation, digital technology, all of this cool stuff that's happening throughout the world. So La Trobe continues to develop these, but the students benefit because you have things like a Master of Digital Health. So now that's taking those two, what used to be two different areas of study, and bringing them together. So this is a big push for La Trobe. We're trying to really move forward in innovation, work with industry, make sure that you as students have an opportunity to study something that will help you get a job in the future, but also something where you can get experience while you're studying. You can work with professionals, you can work with these industry partners, and when you graduate, you're ready to start that job. So as you're looking around at what you want to study and all the different programs that are offered, I've listed here a number of different types of programs, both for undergraduate and for postgraduate. And if you're thinking about maybe studying something in the arts or humanities, or maybe something in engineering, there are many, many different options for you to look at. So as you work with your counselors at the gate, or you're talking to your family about what you might want to study, open up your options a little bit and consider some different areas that maybe you hadn't thought of before. So within the arts, you might think of global studies or media and communication. If you're looking at healthcare programs, we've talked a little bit about health and nursing, but you may also have sport and exercise science. So again, thinking of that huge sports facility that we've got, the stadium, the home of the Matildas, the football programs, we always need people to work with the athletes. So developing an athlete's abilities, helping them to improve, making slight changes in their performance in order to make them a better athlete. Maybe they win their championship because they made a small change. Part of that is sport and exercise science. You can see under the engineering, we've also got these two engineering programs at the bachelor's level. They are civil and industrial. The other engineering programs are up at the postgraduate level. So for postgraduate, I've done the same just to give you some samples of different types of programs you might consider. If you're looking at something in the arts, our Master of Archaeology is very, very highly ranked. And our students who graduate with that program they're employed almost on day one once they graduate. The health programs include things like rehabilitation, mental health, everything that's come out of COVID after the last few years, but also again related to exercise and sport. you have the Master of Strength and Conditioning here. Again, under engineering, I know a lot of students in Latin America are interested in engineering. So we do have engineering programs such as manufacturing, but we've also got construction and engineering management, which is a little bit higher level. It puts you more onto a management track, as well as a little bit of a crossover into the IT world, quantum information technology, which takes a little bit of engineering, a little bit of IT, and blends them together. Now, thinking about what you might want to study, you also need to consider what the requirements are for all of these degrees. So for our undergraduate programs, you have here a couple of examples of the levels. Typically, we work with what's called a WAM, the weighted average mark. That's an Australian ranking, and it's quite similar to a GPA percentage. So if you're looking at your scores, if you're trying to calculate, put it into a percentage, and that's very close to our WAM. You will need approximately 70% for a bachelor's degree in terms of the entry requirements. If you're studying in the IB program or Cambridge or US high school diploma, the other scores are listed there as well. Under your English proficiency, you do need to have a decent English score in order to start at Trobe University. But we've also got English programs. If you're not quite there yet and you need a little bit of extra English, we can also offer you that, okay? For postgraduate programs, if you're looking at studying a master's degree, you will need to have a bachelor's degree from an accredited university. You might have some other requirements. So sometimes a master's degree will require some work experience or that you've studied a specific field in your bachelor's degree. We may have a quota, that means a limited number of seats for some programs, and that's usually going to be in healthcare. And you'll have an English requirement as well. That's almost always an IELTS 6.5 with nothing less than a 6. But you'll need to also check the individual course listings, okay? So I'm going to just address that question that's in the chat box right now. If you're doing an American high school diploma and you've been studying in English for the last few years, normally you don't need an IELTS or a TOEFL score. So we assume that if you've been studying in English, you've done your high school in English, or if you've done your entire bachelor's degree in English and you can show us proof of that, we typically will not ask for an IELTS or TOEFL score because you've probably got better English than I do. So it wouldn't be required, but we always recommend that you speak to your counselor, go ahead and apply to the university, and then we'll assess your application when it comes in. All right, let's go to the important stuff. Let's talk about money. So every degree program is going to have a price that you'll find on the website. You'll look up the course that you want to study. You'll see the tuition fees there for the year. And when you send us your application, we will automatically assess your application for a scholarship. Your scholarship might be 15%, 20%, or 25%. And it depends entirely on your academic background. So if you're a really good student, if you've got excellent grades, you're likely to have a 25% scholarship on your tuition fees, okay? That scholarship lasts from your first year until you finish your studies. So it might be your 3 years or 4 years. It might be your 2-year master's degree. And it is eligible to any international student. So you cannot be a citizen of Australia or New Zealand, of course. And it's for any new international student starting at La Trobe. There are a few courses that are not eligible. One of those is dentistry, which is already quite expensive. So if you're planning on studying dentistry, be aware that it is a longer program, it is expensive, and there is not a scholarship for that one. Okay. All right. Let's go on to the La Trobe College programs. La Trobe College Australia is our pathway provider. They're based right on our campus. So La Trobe College students and La Trobe University students are all in the same place. They all buy their coffee in the same cafe. They live at the same accommodation. They use all of the same facilities on campus, the same library. But La Trobe College provides our English programs as well as foundation and diploma programs. So if you're looking for a pathway into La Trobe University, that will be our partner, La Trobe College Australia. Foundation studies typically are for a student who's come from a local high school that is not equivalent to an Australian year 12. And that will be about 8 or 9 months of study in a foundation program, and it leads into your first year of your bachelor's degree. Okay. Under diploma programs are giving you a little bit of an academic boost. They cover the first year of studies and they lead into your second year of your bachelor's degree. So it's a great opportunity for a student who has a little bit lower scores, or if you want a little bit of academic support before you get started, that's a diploma program. So here are the descriptions about foundation studies and diploma. Foundation is offered in specific fields, business, IT, or humanities, engineering and computer science, as well as health and life sciences. The diploma program is as I said, the first year of the bachelor's degree, and that falls into these 7 areas: business, media communications, IT, psychology, biosciences, health science, and engineering. Okay, something that you want to look for on pretty much any university campus is services that are provided to students for health and well-being. So we offer a lot of different services to our students. If you're struggling a bit with mental health, if you're feeling a little homesick, if you're having any issues in your accommodation or struggling with your classes, we've got services for our students to help out with health and well-being. So you can always ask, you just have to reach out to somebody. Any issues at all that you've got, you want to talk to somebody on campus about health and well-being, okay? Now, I mentioned a couple of times your accommodation. We've got 4 areas for accommodation on our campus. I think the furthest away is probably maybe a 15-minute walk to your classes. So it's nice to have accommodation right on campus. All the accommodation, all the rooms are quite similar. You do not share bedrooms. So each student's room has a bed, a desk, and a wardrobe. We do provide heating because Melbourne gets a little chilly in the winter. But you've also got some storage space. Usually under the bed, there's extra space, and your wardrobe is space for storage. All of the accommodation areas have some entertainment, like a lounge area with sofas and a TV. Usually there's a pool table or foosball or something fun. Free laundry facilities. You do have to buy the soap, but the machines are free to use. You've got a small gym in the building. So the gym usually has a couple of machines and a set of weights. If you want much more than that, you can buy a membership to the big gym on campus. And then you've also got an option for catering. That's your meal plan. So that would be breakfast and dinner every day. And that's provided in one of the accommodation areas where we've got a huge dining hall. It looks a little like the Harry Potter dining hall. So that's an option. And many of the staff actually eat there. So we know it's good food. And for students who book either a semester or a year in student accommodation, we do provide you with a discount. It ends up being the equivalent of 1 week free or 2 weeks free. So there's a nice little discount on there. These are the rates for the accommodation per week. And I've put these here so that you can also compare to looking at off-campus accommodation. If you were considering getting a flat with your friends, or finding your own place to rent off campus, those may start around $300 or $400 per week. The on-campus accommodation may be quite small in terms of just having your own bedroom, but it also includes your Wi-Fi, your electricity, your water, so you don't have to pay for those long hot showers. Pretty much everything, all the utilities are included in your accommodation, which I think is quite nice. You can see here the different names of the accommodation. So Chisholm College, Glen College, and Menzies are all traditional style accommodation. They are like American college dorms, if you're familiar with that. The North and South apartment is our brand new accommodation that was built during COVID. So it's really still very new for us. The North and South apartments are beautiful. They are new, they're a little bit fancy. They feel like living in an apartment. There is a private studio, which would be more like a hotel room. So it's got your sleeping area, a small kitchen, and a private bathroom for you. Or you can get a shared apartment where you have 4, 5, or 6 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a large kitchen space, and a lounge area. So if you've got a few friends you want to get together with, you could book a multi-room apartment, or you can get your own studio, and otherwise all of the other accommodations are typical student dormitories. Okay. All right, I am going to stop there with our motto, which is make a real impact on your future. And that is La Trobe's motto for all of our students. And I will say thank you, and I'll take your questions now.
Thank you very much, Christina. And yes, we do have a question in the chat. Let
Okay.
me open it. From Cecilia. She says, I'm interested in a Master of Dietetics, and are there any scholarships available for this master's degree?
Yes. Yes, the Master of Dietetics does offer scholarships. And let me stop sharing my screen for a moment and come back to all of you. It's great to see so many people here today.
Hmm.
All right, the Master of Dietetics will have a scholarship. Just going to open that one up. And again, all of our scholarships are automatically assessed, and they're all at the same level, between 15 and 25%. Okay, so.
In the meantime, sorry. If in the meantime anybody else has a question, please write them on the chat or raise their hands.
Yep. Excellent. For students who are interested in going to the regional areas, if you're interested in studying just a few hours away, oh, sorry, I've made a mistake on the dietetics. That one does not have a scholarship. Sorry, that is one of our limited courses that doesn't offer scholarships. There are a couple of others similar to that you could look into. But for students who are looking at studying not on the Bandura campus, but further out into the regional areas, if you wanted to go to Bendigo or Albury-Wodonga, for example, there are scholarships for students who study in the regional areas. So those are, they're called Destination Australia, and those are provided by the government. And those are a scholarship that can be added on. It's sometimes more than the academic scholarship that we offer to our students. So it's always good to consider different campuses, maybe a lower cost of living out in the regional areas, but also to have a look around at the different scholarships that are available to students in the regional areas. Okay.
Great, thank you, Christina.
Sure.
There's another question from Ivana. Is work experience required in all the master's programs?
No, not in all of them. So it will really depend from one program to another. And that's why it's important to look up the course online and to just double check what the requirements are. If you have studied something similar or studied something in a related field, that often will meet the requirements. If you have not studied in a related field, then one of the options might be to have some work experience in that area.
Thank you, Christina. Pau, you have your hand raised. You want to comment on something?
Yeah, I just want to add that in some of these things or questions, we might be able to help you through the process regarding a few of the questions moving forward, your applications, or regarding the scholarships, or in which campus it's taught any subject, particularly in the case of the dietetics. Let's see if Bondura has it or not, but Bendigo, sorry, because if it has it, it might be a pretty good destination for it.
Yes, I'm gonna write in the chat our email address so you can contact us so we can answer your questions as well and to help you with your application process, okay? So just that you have it here. Also, well,
I'm sorry, Ale, I'm gonna jump in. Well, you were gonna say something regarding the question from Elizabeth, or I can jump in that one.
jump in, go ahead.
All right. Well, Elizabeth studies at the American School Foundation in Monterey, which is an IB. Is it correct, Elizabeth? Is it right? Yes. So she doesn't need to have a proof of IELTS or TOEFL, right?
Nope. If you've got an IB diploma, you don't need the IELTS or TOEFL.
Yeah, right. Okay. So we're in contact already. I'm really happy to see her, but yeah, I just wanted to clarify that for her.
Sure.
No foundation or diploma, right?
Nope, no foundation or diploma for an IB student. IB is a high enough level in high school that it qualifies you for direct entry into the university.
How about, Christina, in case of students that don't have IB, that have the national system in Mexico, which is 12 years, or Colombia, which is 11, what is the pathway in that case? And those two
so
cases?
typically for a student who's coming from a local high school, not IB, not American curriculum, and not Cambridge, typically those students would be applying for a foundation year. And we call it a foundation year, but it's about 8 or 9 months. So those students will need to cover the foundation in order to qualify for the first year of a bachelor's degree.
Thanks.
Sure.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments or anything you're curious about?
I have a question regarding the scholarships, Christina. Do you still have the early acceptance
Yes.
scholarships? Yes.
Yeah, the early bird acceptance grant is what we're offering right now. It's an additional 5% off your tuition for the first year.
Great, excellent, thank you. I believe Jorge raised his hand. I'm not sure if you still have a question or not.
Yes, I raised my hand, sorry. I was wondering if in what page I could see the recording. Is that I wasn't able to enter since the beginning, and I'm really interested to hear it completely.
Okay, yes, don't worry, Jorge. We will be sending it to you, the link to the recording with your registration. We have already your email, so we're gonna be sending everyone the recording so you can have a look again.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
No worries. Anybody else? Any other questions? No? You can hit Christina right now that we have her here.
Oh, tough question here.
Elise.
Do we have a volleyball or basketball team? Yes. So we've got a lot of club level teams. So you won't be necessarily looking at the competitive level. Volleyball and basketball both are pretty popular here. In fact, you'll find one activity that it's a little bit weird, called netball. Netball is a little bit of basketball, a little bit of volleyball, a little bit of something else. And it's an Australian sport. But we do have both volleyball and basketball, and our new stadium has, I think, 8 basketball courts. So you got plenty of places to play. There are always pickup games going on. A lot of students like to play. So there will be an opportunity to play at La Trobe, to find just a casual or a club team. If you want to play beach volleyball, there are beaches in Melbourne, and you can head down there on a weekend and play some beach volleyball as well. So lots of different options depending on your level and how competitive you are. Okay.
Excellent. Just going back to Jorge's question, let me tell you that we will be very soon launching our YouTube channel, and we will be having all the recordings for our webinars there as well. So if you are not following us yet in our social media, please do so. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, and soon to be YouTube. So we will be sharing the link for the YouTube channel there, and you can go and see all our recordings there.
Awesome.
Okay, awesome.
I'm going to
Well,
just put La Trobe's
yes, Gonzalo, I believe you have a
email
question.
website here, so that if you want to look something up, or if you have other questions, La Trobe's website is there, that you can go directly to and have a look.
Thank you, Christina.
Thanks. Just a question about accommodation and what's generally the practice, let's put it that way. Undergraduate first years tend to live on campus and then move away and live with friends, right?
Yeah.
Master students a bit mixed depending on where they come from, and is that standard at La Trobe as well?
Yes. So for usually the younger students or people who are new to Australia, or they want sort of the security or the assuredness of having a place to live. You've got an instant community. You don't have to worry about renting an apartment and figuring it all out. That's who lives on campus. It's usually our first year students, our younger students, students who don't want to go hunting around for an apartment and figure out how to pay rent, how to pay for gas and heating and everything. Then you would live on campus. Living on campus saves you from having to worry about all of the extra bills. And you can also get a meal plan on campus, so you know that your breakfast and dinner are always provided. That's for the undergraduate students. For the postgraduate students, it really depends on their situation. If they're going to be working, if they're going to be living in the city, if they're coming with a partner, if they're married, then they typically don't live on campus. But it is an option for postgraduate students to do the same. And our accommodation tends to be pretty mixed. So we've got older students, younger students, but in each accommodation area, our team really tries hard to make sure that if you request a quiet floor, or if you don't want to be partying all the time, they try to put you in an accommodation area where you don't have to worry too much about that. You know, if you're very sensitive, you don't want people drinking around you, you don't want lots of parties going on, there are floors or sections of the accommodation where our team says, all right, everybody that wants quiet goes over there. Okay.
Another question about scholarships. You mentioned the La Trobe scholarships.
Yes.
You also have agreements with Latin American scholarship bodies, or
we're in the process of signing a couple of agreements. Right. So right now, we're working with FIDER. So there is an agreement in place with FIDER. I think it's just been signed or just about to be. It basically matches the highest level of our academic scholarship. So right. Students who go through FIDER will get the 25% scholarship no matter what.
Perfect.
We're working on a couple of other scholarships. So for other countries, we're working on scholarships in collaboration with the either the government scholarships or the private organizations. Okay.
Excellent, thank you.
Sure.
Awesome. Well, I think there are no any other questions in the chat now.
I would like to jump into something if Christine allows me, and this is regarding all the, well, what I've seen in La Trobe. They have a few perks that none other uni has, and they have the wind tunnel, which is for some of the people that it's in the sports world, more so in the F1 into sport. It's a very advanced technology that it's used in the motorsports industry, and also they have this amazing facilities for all kind of sports. So either you want to play basketball, but football, but rugby, whatever it is, tennis, they have it all. So it's starting, but also you can pretty much go pro or something similar.
Thank you for that, Paulina. Yeah, the sports facilities have been developing over the last couple of years, very much since COVID, since our new stadium was built and the facilities were opened up. And so that's when I was talking a little bit earlier about some of the courses you can study, sports and exercise science, coaching, things like that. Those all incorporate a lot of our new facilities. And I know that Paulina has toured around the campus a couple of times. So yeah, there are some really cool top-notch facilities there. Things like measuring an athlete's oxygen, or measuring the angle of their arm as they throw a ball, using the wind tunnel, or putting you into a chamber where you feel like you're climbing a mountain, and it's a way to measure your oxygen and how you cope in a very different situation. If you were getting ready to go climb the highest mountain around, it would give you the same kind of feeling as that. So there's a lot of really, really cool facilities. Yeah, and I hope everybody gets a chance to check them out. And if you're very interested in a specific area like that, I'm happy to send more information along. I know that Paulina's seen a lot of it, but I can certainly find some more information and send that along to any of your counselors.
Thank you very much for that, Christina. And also, if you have any more questions, anything more details that you want to know, or you want to talk a little bit more in detail with Christina, we can also arrange a separate meeting if necessary, so that you get just that last push to convince you to La Trobe. Okay, and remember that we will be helping you in all your process, so please contact us, and we will be very happy to help you with that. Okay. Any other things that you want to add, Christina, before we leave?
I think I've put up the website. I know that you guys are very familiar with La Trobe, so I think I'll leave it there. If there are more questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to send more information. Or as you said, Alejandra, I will do a one-on-one if students want to have a chat. And it doesn't have to be just the university. I'm happy to talk about coming to Australia, coming to Melbourne, what it's like in this area. I've come here, I moved to Australia 6 years ago, so I'm still sort of a newcomer. And I'm happy to chat to students about that as well.
Thank you so much. I'm not sure if we have our friends from Prepárate here. I see Claudia, but I'm not sure if it's you, Clau. Yes. I don't know if you changed your last name.
Sí, no lo conoces.
No, okay.
Ustedes disculpen que no
es-
hablen inglés, no, mi
no te
inglés no es
preocupes.
muy bueno, entonces voy a hacerlo en español. Les agradezco mucho el espacio. Voy a compartir una presentación para que tengamos la información de forma gráfica. Yo represento a Prepárate, una empresa en la que nos dedicamos a otorgar financiamiento educativo Y va muy de la mano con las oportunidades que ofrecen las universidades, ¿no? Porque no está peleada con las becas que ellos ofrecen o con los financiamientos que puedan ustedes obtener de alguna otra institución financiera. Prepárate les ofrece un financiamiento que cuenta con hasta 300,000 pesos de apoyo. Este monto se puede otorgar para estudiar licenciatura, maestría o cualquier otro programa de educación continua. Cualquier programa de la universidad lo puede financiar. Prepárate. ¿A qué tasa financiamos? A un 19% sobre saldos insolutos. Aquí es muy importante recalcar que es sobre saldos insolutos. Entonces, si ustedes piden el financiamiento por 300,000 pesos, pero el primer pago que ustedes requieren es por 100,000 pesos, entonces el 19% se aplica a los 100,000 pesos que se les están otorgando en primera instancia y no a los 300,000 pesos, que es la línea total de financiamiento. Entonces, esa es una de de los beneficios y de las grandes situaciones que tenemos que tomar en consideración cuando solicitamos un financiamiento. ¿A qué plazo vamos a otorgar este dinero? Hasta el doble del periodo financiado. Es decir, si sus estudios duran 2 años, tienen hasta 4 años para hacer el pago de este dinero que están solicitando. ¿Qué requisitos deben de cumplir? Uno de ellos es cubrir un promedio mínimo de 8. Aunque si tienen un promedio de 7,5, de 7, cualquiera más bajo de 8, pues no hay ningún inconveniente. Ustedes pueden acercarse, nosotros revisamos la información y al final lo único que les pedimos es una carta compromiso para que su promedio vaya subiendo conforme vayan avanzando sus estudios. También requerimos que tengan un buen buro de crédito, que tengan un obligado solidario, que en otras palabras es un aval, o una persona que se responsabilice del crédito que ustedes están solicitando en caso de que ustedes por cualquier circunstancia ya no puedan seguir haciendo los pagos. Y lo otro que necesitamos es una carta de aceptación de la universidad, sea cual sea el programa que vayan a estudiar, nada más que tengan la carta de aceptación de esta para que podamos dar inicio al financiamiento. ¿Qué beneficios les ofrecemos? Uno de ellos es un seguro de vida para el financiado durante todo el periodo del financiamiento. Si se les apetece regresar acá a México, aunque con todos los beneficios que ofrece la universidad, pues tal vez se quieran quedar por allá en Australia, pero si regresan acá a México, tenemos alianzas empresariales a partir de las cuales les podemos ayudar a encontrar un espacio laboral. Pagos adelantados sin penalizaciones y no solo eso, realmente no cobramos ninguna comisión ni por apertura, ni por solicitar el buro de crédito, ni absolutamente nada, ¿no? Esto es completamente gratuito el proceso. También algo muy importante es que el proceso es completamente en línea, salvo la firma del contrato, pero si no están en la Ciudad de México, nosotros vemos la posibilidad de acercarnos al lugar en el que estén para que se lleve a cabo, la firma del contrato. Y pues a grandes rasgos este es el financiamiento que les ofrecemos. Insisto, no está peleado con ningún otro financiamiento, ni tampoco está peleado con ninguna beca que ofrezca la universidad. Al contrario, lo que buscamos es que se sumen estos esfuerzos para que ustedes puedan hacer sus sueños, ya sea en Australia o en cualquier otro país al que deseen irse a estudiar. Y
Muchísimas
pues no sé
gracias,
si...
Clau. Yo tengo una
Gracias a
duda.
ti. Dime.
No sé si a lo mejor alguien más igual poder la tiene. ¿Qué pasa si los estudiantes ya están, ya habían comenzado su programa de estudios? ¿Pueden aplicar una vez que ya están estudiando?
Así es, sí pueden aplicar en cualquier momento de su estudio, ya sea que estén iniciando, que ya estén estudiando, incluso si ya empezó el semestre, cuatrimestre o el periodo educativo que estén estudiando, en el momento en el que esté, y que de repente digan, chin, ya no me alcanza para cubrir los gastos, entonces el financiamiento les puede apoyar. Otra cosa importante que se me olvidaba comentarles, no solo es para pagar la colegiatura, sino también de repente les puede servir para pagar los gastos de viático, los gastos de manutención que tengan al país al que se vayan a estudiar.
Perfecto, muchas gracias, Clau. No sé si alguien tenga alguna pregunta. Igual yo aprovecho la oportunidad. Creo que esto es una excelente opción Regularmente cuando nos queremos ir a estudiar al extranjero, los gastos fuertes son los iniciales, ¿no? Que si tienes que mandar traducir documentos, la visa, el avión, el pago del primer semestre, hospedaje, etcétera. Entonces, si es necesario que tengan como ese último empujoncito y dices, híjole, me falta ya cualquier cosita para completar y ya tener mi monto completo. Prepárate es una excelente opción para que ustedes puedan alcanzarlo. Entonces, también para que lo tengan en cuenta, si quieren estar en contacto con Claudia, con todo gusto, igual comuníquenos su interés y ya los ponemos en contacto con Claudia o con Dalia para que puedan atenderlos. Y la verdad es que son súper rápidas, súper amables, atentas, resuelven todo súper rápido. Ya tenemos por ahí un estudiante que se fue con el apoyo de Prepárate precisamente a Australia y la verdad es que muy, muy bien.
Muchísimas gracias, Ale. Gracias por el espacio y por supuesto estamos a la orden para quien quiera o requiera de este apoyo que les ofrecemos.
Muchísimas gracias, Clau.
Gracias.
Perfecto, pues creo que ya nadie tiene preguntas por aquí. No, pues muchísimas gracias, Cristina. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you everyone that joined us today, and we will be in touch. We'll be sending you the recording, and keep in touch. Follow us on our social media because every week we are having something new to bring you to the table and to find out our new destinations and new institutions. Thank you so much. Gracias a todos. Que pasen excelente noche. Nice day to you,
Thank
Cristina.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye.
Christina.
Bye bye.